The galaxy was wide and full of powerful empires, yet most of them agreed on one thing. Humanity was still young and weak. They were a small species from a small blue planet, trying to stand among giants. Whenever humans tried to show their technology, the older races would laugh. They believed humans were reckless, emotional, and too slow to catch up with galactic progress. When the first human warship appeared on the outer edge of the Council sector, alien eyes turned to see it. It was huge but bulky, a massive shape of steel and armor that moved across space like a tired beast. Its engines glowed dim compared to the bright drives of alien cruisers. Its weapons looked primitive, cannons instead of elegant plasma arcs, armor instead of sleek shields. The Virak, a proud reptilian race, were the first to mock it. Their commander sneered on the open channel, his voice filled with pride. "This is the best Earth can build. A floating coffin? A metal whale crawling in space?" His fleet laughed loudly, their ships circling the human vessel like sharks around prey. Other races joined in, the Halari with their crystalline ships, the Turoks with their long and fast destroyers. They all spoke the same words: slow, weak, outdated. Humanity had brought shame upon itself by showing such a clumsy machine. Inside the council chamber, broadcasts of the ship reached hundreds of worlds. Millions of alien citizens laughed together. "Humans," they said, "always pretending to be strong, but look at this toy. Even a cargo hauler looks better armed." Memes spread across the networks, images of the warship crawling next to alien fleets, given names like the Slug, the Coffin, and Earth's Joke. Yet the humans stayed quiet. Their diplomats refused to answer the insults. Their commanders gave no explanation. They only sent a simple message across the stars: "Observe, judge later." His silence only made the laughter louder because in the galaxy, silence was often taken as weakness. The human crew inside the warship heard every word. Still, they did not respond. They walked calmly across their stations, checked the engines, prepared the hidden systems. Their captain stood at the bridge window, staring at the endless field of stars, his eyes calm, his voice steady. "Let them laugh. Laughter is louder before fear." On the alien side, overconfidence grew. The Virak commander spoke again. "You dare bring this relic into our space? Watch closely. We will break it into pieces and show the galaxy that humans are nothing but dreamers." His fleet began to arm their weapons, their engines glowing brighter across distant systems. Smaller species that had once been bullied by the great powers watched with pity. They thought humanity had made a mistake. They whispered, "Why would humans build such a slow ship? Why face the strongest fleets with such a weak design?" But in the shadows, rumors started to rise. A few traders and explorers who had dealt with humans spoke differently. They warned others, "Do not believe what you see. Humans are strange. They never show all their cards. If they brought this ship here, there is a reason." But their warnings were drowned out by the mocking voices. The warship continued its slow path, its engines humming, its shields dim, its guns silent. Every movement it made added to the alien laughter. For in the galaxy, speed was everything, power was everything, and the human ship seemed to have neither. Still, deep inside the warship, hidden chambers locked tight, massive systems were waiting, engines that had not yet burned at full strength, weapons that had not yet been armed. The crew knew, the captain knew, humanity knew, but the galaxy did not. The moment of truth was approaching, and no one outside Earth could see coming. As the alien fleet circled closer, preparing to humiliate humanity on a galactic stage, the captain gave one final order to his crew, his voice calm but sharp like a blade. "Patience. Hold steady. They think we are slow. They think we are weak. But they will learn the truth, and when the first strike falls, none of their laughter will remain." And so, while the galaxy mocked and laughed, humanity's warship drifted silently forward, slow, steady, waiting for the moment when silence would turn into fire. The mocking did not stop. In fact, it grew louder every hour. Alien fleets around the human warship opened public channels, broadcasting their laughter across thousands of systems. Their citizens cheered as if watching a grand comedy show. Humanity had become the galaxy's entertainment. The Virak commander announced proudly, We will turn this weak ship into dust before the galaxy's eyes, his voice thundered across open comms. Today will mark the end of Earth's illusions of power. His words were repeated on every channel, fueling a storm of humiliation for humanity. Inside the council worlds, debates broke out. Some argued the humans were fools for exposing themselves. Others whispered that this was a trick. But the loudest voices always belonged to those who mocked, and soon laughter drowned out reason. The human warship, still moving slow, ignored it all. But silence itself was a weapon. Silence built fear in those who could read deeper. The stillness of the ship, the calmness of its crew, it was unnatural in the face of so much mockery. Among the alien fleets, there were whispers too. Younger officers, less arrogant, spoke quietly to their commanders. What if this is a trap? What if the humans are hiding something? But their warnings were dismissed. The Virak commander laughed. Hide what? This ship can barely move. If humans had power, they would have shown it by now. Still, the unease grew. The Turoks, proud and warlike, pushed for a direct confrontation. Their leader, a towering figure, with burning eyes, sent a challenge across the stars. Humanity, if you are truly brave, face us in battle. Let us prove before the galaxy that your warship is nothing but a coffin in space. Every eye turned toward Earth's ship, waiting for a reply. The galaxy expected silence again, maybe a retreat, maybe cowardice. But then, a message came from the warship. It was simple, short, yet filled with weight. Challenge accepted. The words spread like wildfire. The galaxy erupted. Countless species tuned in to witness the event. News networks called it the duel of the century. Memes transformed into betting pools. Wagers placed on how quickly the human ship would fall. None gave it more than a few minutes. Inside the warship, the crew prepared, still calm, still steady. Their captain gave no grand speech, no roar of pride, only quiet orders. Check the engines, check the locks, synchronize the systems. They believe this is a duel, but this will be an execution. The alien fleets grew louder, preparing for their spectacle. Their weapons glowed with anticipation. Their soldiers cheered for easy glory. Across the galaxy, smaller species who had once been crushed by these same empires prayed in silence. Some prayed for humans to survive. Others prayed for a miracle. For one blow of justice against the arrogant, the human warship drifted into the combat zone, still heavy, still slow, its engines burning soft, its armor reflecting faint light. To the galaxy it looked like a walking corpse. To its enemies it looked like prey delivered to their claws. The Virak commander opened the channel one last time. Humans, your time is over. Prepare to be erased from history. His fleet locked weapons, waiting for the signal to fire. But the humans sent one last message, and this time it carried a strange promise. You wanted to see our speed, our strength, our truth. Watch closely, because when the strike falls, none of you will laugh again. The channel went silent. For the first time, a chill ran through some of the alien crews. It was only a sentence, only words. Yet the calm tone of the human captain carried weight, the kind of weight that comes before storms. The galaxy held its breath. The duel was about to begin, and no one knew that this would not only be a battle, it would be the moment that would shatter the arrogance of entire empires and write humanity's name in fire across the stars. The stars burned quietly as fleets gathered to witness the duel. Thousands of ships from different species tuned their sensors toward a single battlefield. The human warship floated at the center, still slow, still heavy, while the alien armadas circled it like predators around wounded prey. The Turok's leader raised his clawed hand, his voice carried across the void. Begin! And the first volley of alien fire streaked across space, beams of plasma, streams of energy, blazing through the dark toward the human vessel. The galaxy cheered, expecting the human ship to burn. Yet when the blast struck, the warship trembled but did not fall. Its armor glowed with heat, its shields flickered, but it kept moving, slow and steady, as if nothing had changed. The Virak commander laughed so loud that it echoed on open comms. Pathetic, look how it crawls. One more strike and it will crumble. His fleet prepared another barrage. Inside the human warship, the crew remained calm, their captain's voice sharp and clear. Shields at 60%, hold positions, do not answer yet. They obeyed without hesitation. The ship endured wave after wave, letting the aliens laugh, letting the galaxy believe it was weak. But deep inside the warship, systems hidden from all scanners hummed awake, chambers that had remained locked since the ship's birth began to open. Giant reactors pulsed with unnatural power. Silent engines flared for only a fraction of a second before vanishing again. The aliens did not note it. See, they were too busy celebrating their coming victory. Another barrage came, brighter, louder, filling space with fire, and again the human warship endured. It staggered, but it did not fall. It moved forward, one slow crawl at a time, and that crawl felt endless. Then the human captain gave a new order, his words quiet but sharp like a blade. Target locked, tracking initialized, maintain silence, do not fire until my mark. Across the galaxy, audiences started whispering. Some began to grow uneasy. Why has it not fallen? Why is it still moving? A few voices warned, something is wrong. Nothing survives so many barrages without a reason. But their warnings were drowned by the laughter of the powerful races. The Turok's leader shouted, finish them now. And his fleet launched their strongest salvo, massive beams meant to shatter planets. And still the human warship endured. The blast tore at its armor, but the ship kept moving forward, slow, steady, unshaken. The silence of the humans became heavier than any weapon. Inside the ship, the crew waited, hands tight on their controls, eyes sharp, sweat on their brows, yet none dared break the silence. They knew what was coming. They knew this was not weakness. This was patience. This was calculation. The captain finally stood, his gaze locked on the enemy fleets that circled like vultures. His voice calm but filled with iron. They believe we are slow. They believe we are blind. Let them believe. But now it is time to show them the truth. A signal flashed through the ship. Systems unlocked, weapons aligned, engines pulsed once more with hidden strength. The galaxy held its breath. The Turok's fleet prepared to fire again, confident of their victory, when the human warship suddenly sent a short transmission, only 5 words. Observe carefully, this is speed. Before the message could even finish, the human warship vanished from its slow crawl. Its engines roared like thunder, bending space itself in a single blink. The ship was no longer where it had been. Alien fleets froze, their sensors scrambling, their commanders shouting in disbelief. Where did it go? How can it move like this? And then, for the first time, fear began to rise where laughter had once ruled. The duel had changed. The galaxy had just witnessed the first crack in arrogance, and humanity's hidden hand was about to strike. The galaxy froze in disbelief. One moment the human warship had been crawling like a wounded beast. The next it vanished from every alien scanner. The Virak commander shouted orders, his voice breaking for the first time. Find them! Track them! Now! But the sensors returned only static. Alien fleets scattered, their formations breaking as they searched the void, their weapons armed, their soldiers tense, yet they could not find the ship they had mocked only moments before. Then, a sudden tremor in space, the warship reappeared behind the Turok's formation, silent as a predator, its cannons already glowing. Before the aliens could even react, a beam of energy sliced through the first Turok's destroyer, cutting it clean in half. The explosion lit the void like a second sun. The galaxy gasped. Millions watching from distant worlds leaned closer to their screens, voices trembling. It moved. It attacked. How? The laughter that had filled the stars fell into silence. The Turok's leader roared in rage. All ships fire at will. His fleet turned, weapons blazing, but the human warship moved again, faster than sensors could lock. It vanished and reappeared at angles no one thought possible. Each time it fired, another alien ship was torn apart. Inside the warship, the crew worked like a single heartbeat, every system synchronized, every command executed with cold precision. The captain stood unmoved, his eyes fixed on the chaos outside. Stay sharp. We show them only a fraction, only enough to break their pride. Alien fleets panicked. Formations collapsed. Commanders screamed into their comms. Hold positions, regroup, focus fire. But it was useless. Their weapons hit only empty space. Their targets were shadows. Across the council chambers, leaders of mighty empires stared at the battle. Their laughter gone, their pride wounded, whispers began to spread. This cannot be possible. No human ship can move like that. This defies physics. This is something else. The Virak commander gritted his teeth, his arrogance cracking. It is a trick. It must be a trick. No ship this size should move faster than a fighter. But his voice trembled, for even he no longer believed his own words. The human warship struck again. Its cannons thundered, tearing through another cruiser, explosions blooming across the void. The galaxy could no longer deny the truth. The ship they mocked was not slow. It was not weak. It was waiting. The smaller races, once silent, now whispered with awe. Humanity, they hid this. They let themselves be mocked, only to strike when no one expected. Hope lit their voices. Fear filled their oppressors. The captain of the warship gave another calm command. Activate secondary batteries, but do not unleash the core. Not yet. The crew obeyed. Hidden turrets unfolded across the hull, spewing rail slugs and plasma bursts. Alien ships shattered under the storm. The battlefield had become a slaughter, yet still the human ship did not reveal its full power. It moved like lightning, struck like thunder, and then returned to silence. The mystery of its true strength left hanging in the void. Alien soldiers who had once mocked now screamed in terror. Retreat, retreat. It is not a warship. It is a monster. Fleets pulled back, but the warship followed slowly, as if to remind them of its choice. That speed was not its limit, but its weapon, used only when needed. In the distance, Council lead. Air stared in silence, their world shaken, their arrogance broken, and deep inside their hearts, a new thought began to grow: fear. The first clash was over, but it was not victory for the aliens. It was humiliation. It was proof. Proof that humanity was not what they believed. Proof that Earth had built something beyond their understanding. The human captain looked upon the broken fleets and spoke softly, words that echoed across the ship. This is only the beginning. Their laughter is gone, but their fear has only begun. The void was filled with wreckage, pieces of alien ships drifting like broken glass across the stars, yet the battle was not over. Fleets of the Virak, the Turoks, and the Hilari still gathered, their numbers vast, their pride wounded. They could no longer laugh, but arrogance still clung to them. The Virak commander roared, his voice shaking with anger. Do not falter. It is only one ship, one human trick. Overwhelm it with numbers, crush it under fire. His words tried to rebuild courage, but the fear in his eyes betrayed him. Alien ships regrouped, thousands of weapons aimed at the lone warship. The void lit up with fire, beams and missiles rushing toward the human vessel. Explosions engulfed the darkness. The galaxy watching believed this time the ship would fall. But when the smoke cleared, the warship still stood, armor blackened, shields flickering, yet steady, unmoved, and then something began to change. Panels on the hull split open, hidden compartments unfolded, massive cannons emerged from within, weapons no one had detected, weapons that defied known technology, rail cannons the size of towers locked into position, plasma batteries glowed with unnatural heat, missile bays opened like the jaws of a predator. The galaxy gasped, voices whispered across countless worlds. They hid this, they hid it all. Inside the warship, the crew moved with precision, activating systems one by one, reactors burning brighter, engines humming with power, the captain's voice calm. See, Teddy, do not waste shots. Every strike must count. Let them see what they mocked. The alien fleets hesitated, their confidence shaken, but their commanders forced them forward. Attack. Overwhelm them. They cannot withstand the full might of the galaxy. The first alien wave charged, dozens of ships firing at once, but this time the human warship answered. The rail cannons roared, launching slugs faster than light, tearing through enemy hulls like paper. Plasma batteries unleashed storms of fire, burning entire squadrons in seconds. Missiles streaked into formations, detonating with explosions so bright they blinded sensors. Alien ships broke apart one after another, explosions painting the battlefield red and white. The galaxy stared in horror and awe, silence spreading where once there had been laughter. Still, the warship held back, its greatest weapon remained locked. The captain watched the chaos with cold patience. Not yet, we bleed them first, then we strike. The Virak commander screamed in desperation, fall back, regroup, surround it. But his words carried fear, his voice trembled, His soldiers hesitated. They had never seen such destruction from a single ship. Among the smaller species, hope began to rise. Voices whispered, "Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not slow. They planned this. They tricked the galaxy." Those who had once pitied Earth now looked with respect, but the great empires could not accept defeat. More fleets jumped into the battlefield, reinforcements pouring in from every side. Their pride demanded victory. Their arrogance refused to believe the truth. The human captain saw it all, the endless fleets gathering, his voice calm but sharp. "Prepare the core. Unlock the first strike." The crew froze for a moment, then obeyed. Systems deep inside the warship unlocked, lights glowing red, alarms echoing softly. The galaxy did not yet know what was coming, but the battlefield grew tense. Sensors detected strange energy building within the human ship. Whispers spread, "What are they? Preparing? What is this first strike?" Alien commanders felt the shift too, fear spreading through their fleets, but pride chained them. They ordered their ships forward, determined to erase humanity once and for all. The warship glowed, its power rising, the void trembling as if the stars themselves feared. The captain spoke once more, his voice steady, his words cold as iron. "They wanted to see our strength. They wanted to mock our speed. Now they will witness our wrath." The crew's hands tightened on their stations, hearts pounding, yet none hesitated. They knew what would come next would be written into legend. The moment of the first strike was approaching. The galaxy waited, holding its breath, unaware that within minutes, their laughter, their pride, their arrogance would be shattered forever. The battlefield had become a storm. Alien fleets filled the stars, thousands of ships tightening their circle around the lone human warship, weapons glowing with deadly light, commanders shouting orders filled with desperation. But inside the human warship, there was no panic, only silence, only the sound of reactors growing louder, the deep hum of power rising, as if the ship itself was waking from a long sleep. The crew held their stations, eyes steady, hands tight. They all felt it, the pressure in the air, the storm waiting to break. The captain stood tall at the center, his voice calm and unshaken. "Initiate first strike protocol." Deep within the ship, hidden cores unlocked, ancient systems that no alien scanner had ever detected came alive. The hull began to glow faintly, energy flowing like rivers of fire across its surface. The ship no longer looked slow, no longer looked weak. It looked alive. The galaxy held its breath. Billions of eyes watched the broadcast, silence spreading where once there had been laughter. Small voices whispered, "What are they doing? What is that light?" The Virak commander shouted, fear in his tone. "Fire! All ships, fire now!" And thousands of weapons unleashed their fury. Beams, plasma, missiles, all crashing against the human warship. The void filled with explosions so bright they blinded sensors, but when the fire cleared, the warship still stood, shields burning, armor glowing, but unbroken. The captain raised his hand, his voice sharp. "Now!" The first strike was unleashed. In an instant, space itself seemed to split. A wave of energy burst outward from the warship, brighter than any star, faster than thought. Alien ships caught in its path were torn apart as if made of paper. Shields shattered, armor melted, entire fleets erased in a single breath. The galaxy screamed. Commanders shouted in terror, "Impossible! Impossible!" As entire armadas were cut down, the first strike did not stop. It spread in all directions, carving through ships, splitting cruisers, breaking dreadnoughts, turning proud war machines into drifting wrecks. Explosions bloomed across the void like dying suns. In mere moments, silence returned. Half the gathered fleets were gone, the battlefield filled with nothing but debris and fire, the once proud armies reduced to ruins. Across the galaxy, billions of voices fell silent, their eyes wide, their hearts trembling. The laughter that once mocked humanity, now replaced with awe and terror. Inside the warship, the crew did not cheer, they did not celebrate, they only watched the destruction unfold, their captain's voice steady. "This is the price of arrogance. This is the cost of mocking what you do not understand." The survivors among the alien fleet screamed for retreat, their voices desperate. Fall back, fall back. It is not a warship, it is a weapon, a god of war. Formations broke, commanders abandoned pride. Their only thought was escape. The smaller races who had once been silent now shouted with hope, their voices rising. Humanity has done it. They stood against the mighty and struck them down. For the first time in ages, the weak saw the powerful tremble. The Virak commander, once so proud, sat frozen, his fleet shattered, his words broken. This cannot be. Humans were weak, they were slow. But the truth burned before his eyes. The galaxy could no longer deny it. Humanity had entered the stage not as prey, not as a joke, but as a force that could shake empires. The warship's glow began to fade, its engines quieted, yet its presence filled the void like thunder. Survivors dared not fire again. They dared not mock. They only fled into the dark. The captain watched them run, his eyes cold, his words sharp as steel. We warned them. We told them to observe. Now they will remember. Earth does not start wars, but when forced, Earth finishes them. And in that moment, across every world, across every screen, across every heart, the image of humanity changed forever. The first strike had fallen, and the galaxy would never laugh at Earth again. The battlefield was silent. Where once thousands of alien ships had filled the void, now only wreckage drifted, burning fragments of fleets that had mocked humanity. The light of dying fires reflected across the stars, as if the galaxy itself was mourning its arrogance. The survivors fled, engines burning at full power, commanders screaming for retreat, their pride shattered, their courage broken. The Virak who had once laughed now trembled, their ships scattered into the dark like frightened animals. The galaxy watched in silence. Billions who had cheered for humanity's defeat now stared with wide eyes, their voices quiet, their hearts heavy. They had witnessed something that would be remembered for ages. Inside the council chambers, leaders of great empires sat pale and speechless, their words stolen by fear. One whispered, "It is only one ship." Another replied, "If one ship can do this, what else do humans? Hide?" The thought spread like fire, and for the first time the mighty felt small. Among the weaker races, hope began to bloom. They saw the giants who had ruled them in fear now running from a single human warship. They whispered with awe, "Perhaps humanity will be our shield. Perhaps the age of the arrogant is ending." Inside the warship, the crew sat in silence, exhausted yet steady. No cheers erupted, no celebrations rang. They knew what they had done. They knew what it meant. The captain stood at the bridge window, staring at the stars littered with debris, his voice calm. "We warned them. We asked for respect. They answered with laughter. Now the galaxy will remember. Never again will they mock humanity." His words spread across the ship, carried on private channels, then across the networks of allies who had tuned in. Soon it became a message whispered across the stars. Earth does not start wars, but Earth will finish them. The galaxy trembled with those words. The first strike became legend instantly. Stories spread faster than light. Every survivor told the tale. Every watcher repeated it. The image of the slow human warship turned into a shadow that haunted the minds of empires. No one dared laugh again. Children across distant worlds spoke of the humans in hushed voices. Soldiers trembled at the thought of facing them. Leaders rewrote their policies overnight. Respect was no longer a choice, it was survival, but fear was not the only legacy. Respect grew among those who had once pitied Earth. They saw courage, they saw patience, they saw strength hidden behind silence, and they whispered, "Perhaps humanity will lead, perhaps they were waiting for this moment all along." The wreckage of alien fleets floated as a warning, a reminder written in steel and fire. The galaxy had mocked, and the galaxy had paid. The captain gave his final command for this. "Ide, set course for home, let them talk, let them remember. We have no need for more words." The warship turned slowly, its engines burning with steady light, and then, with a roar, it vanished into hyperspace, leaving only fear and silence behind. For weeks, no empire dared move against Earth. No commander dared speak insults. Silence hung heavy over the stars. Every council meeting began with the same thought. What else are the humans hiding? In taverns and marketplaces, in military camps and royal courts, the same phrase was whispered. Do not mock humanity. Do not test their patience. for the first strike still echoes. The legend had begun, and as the warship disappeared into the endless dark, the galaxy understood a truth it would never forget. Humanity was no longer a small species from a small blue world. Humanity was a storm, patient, silent, but unstoppable when provoked. The age of laughter was over. The age of respect had begun.